when you get heat with the boys, sometimes they'll let that. That's according to what kind of heat you got. And I remember the time that
somebody's got heat with that dog.
Could you just stop? Get down. One-on-one.
Mac Davis and WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long with One-on-One. Teddy, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, Mac. Just glad to be back here with you again. Got a fresh, brand new week. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, man. I can't wait.
First of all, let me talk about some business here at Sportskeeda. I got a message today that soon this show will be available across various podcast platforms through Sportskeeda, and the actual channel now on YouTube will now be known as Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda. So it's Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda. Just a quick update to let you know what's taking place with Sportskeeda and the ever-expanding group that they're doing. They're just including all kinds of new content, and we're just happy to be a part of all that.
Well, that's exactly right, man. And I want to, give a shout out to Sportskeeda. Thank them so very much. And also, let's thank all of our fans that sort of subscribe to our podcast here, and we're picking them up every week, man. And so thank you guys. Y'all just keep on coming.
Please don't stop, because that's what helps us. The higher those numbers go up, the longer we can stay online here. Dave Meltzer, Teddy, is reporting that there are plans for Roman Reigns to actually wrestle both nights of WrestleMania 39, with the working idea that he would face The Rock one night and Cody Rhodes the other.
Well, I don't see there's anything wrong with that. I think that's something brand new that, you got two nights of WrestleMania there. So I think you ought to have, two good, good guys there on both shows. And Roman Reigns, he certainly proved himself, man. He's ready to go with anybody. It makes no difference who you put him in the ring with. Cody Rhodes certainly came back to WWE, made a big stand there, and got injured and had to get out for a while, but he's healing now, and I'm sure he's going to come back fresh. And I think those two matches will be outstanding.
I just wonder if that's too much Roman Reigns and somebody else couldn't have benefited from working with Cody one-on-one instead of Roman working two nights.
Well, I'm sure it could have been, you know what I mean? But everything is done for a reason. So whatever they're doing, I think it's not going to just be those two nights. It's going to go further than that.
When it comes to WrestleMania 39, there's a lot of rumors and stuff going around. And of course, part of that being Naomi and Sasha Banks and what the latest is with them. Teddy, you and we talked about this not too terribly long ago on one of our episodes, what this show or our other show that we do, 30-minute time limit. And we had discussed Naomi and Sasha. It now looks like Naomi may be going to AEW. There is a shot of her and Jade Cargill at a recent basketball game together, and they were on the screens at the basketball game themselves. And so there seems to be a little bit of possibilities that we may see Naomi show up in AEW as a part of the crew with Jade Cargill.
Well, you never know what's going on in this business here. You know what I mean? But for Naomi to be, shown, with Jade Cargill, I mean, that kind of says something. But, I would certainly hope that her and Sasha Banks work something out with WWE, because both of those girls are great talent. They're great performers in the ring. And me, myself, I think they'd be losing two great women, if they left the company and went to AEW. But like I said, in this business, you never know what's going on. But my thing is this, I love both of them. They've certainly been a great asset to the business. And, whichever move they make, congratulations to them. And Jade Cargill, I had a chance to help train her when I was affiliated with the school face-to-face. So she's just phenomenal, man. And she's really come out and really, been better than I thought she was going to be. So, I mean, Naomi, don't get me wrong, she fit right in there. But, hopefully WWE sees and, what they got, and they may not want to lose her.
Now, when it comes to Sasha, there are rumors going around right now, even as of today, and it sounds like it's official now, that Sasha Banks will be a part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling event at the Tokyo Dome in the first of next year. So she has managed to get a few dates from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I don't know what the working condition is between WWE and New Japan. I tend to believe that AEW works with New Japan, which kind of makes me wonder how that deal came to place for Sasha Banks.
Well, the only thing we can do is we just have to wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, in this business here, everything is unpredictable. You never know. So, like I said, I love both of them. They're great, and I just wish the best for them both.
Eric Bischoff, Teddy, you and I, we had a conversation on our other show just the other day about Eric Bischoff making comments about Jim Cornette. Now, you can go back and find that on our other show, which is 30-minute time limit, Road Trip After Hours. That's on YouTube. And you'll find us talking about Jim and Eric. But now Eric is making comments about Ric Flair. Listen to this. Last week on, let's see, where's it here? He says that, that Jim had never done anything for the business. Now he's saying that Ric Flair should thank him. That Ric Flair should thank Eric Bischoff. And the reason he's saying that's because he brought the best out of Flair. And that Flair wasn't Flair until he made him Flair.
Well,
I swear, Teddy, I think he took a chair shot to the head at a show recently or something. What the hell was wrong with him?
Well, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I certainly know this. I was there when Bischoff was there with NWO, and Flair was all a part of that. And I do think that, Bischoff gave him, pretty good full reign on what he could do and everything. So, I just don't know. I love Eric to death. He's a great guy, but, I maybe he knows something about Flair that you and I don't know. I just don't know.
Now, you were there during the time when they had a lot of tension going on. Were you still at WCW at that point when he and Eric were not quite seeing eye to eye?
Yeah, I was there then, yeah.
Look, I used to hear comments because I had somebody on the inside there that I knew, and I would get comments all the time about the two of them and how things would just get so blown out of proportion, and the drama kept up mainly from Flair. Bischoff was trying to keep it down, and Flair was keeping the drama going.
Well, that's Flair. The man has an ego as big as Mount Everest. So, you just never know what he's going to say or what he's going to do.
Teddy, I want to bring up something real quick that we had talked about recently as well on another show. But again, I want to bring it up here. Dusty Rhodes was involved in a steel cage match at the Omni, where the fans began rushing the cage. And you had told me during that conversation that you were there that night. Can you kind of give us a perspective from behind the scenes as you saw it unfolding? When did you realize this is getting a little bit too far out of control? And when did the guys in the back think, oh, shit, we're in trouble?
Well, they finally, when the fans started rushing, the ring and, just start, coming over the railing and stuff, then we knew that what was going on, what was happening right then. So that's kind of horrifying, man, to be right in the middle of that. I wasn't there, but I heard a story one time that there was a fan that jumped the rail and stabbed Ole Anderson.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I did hear that story, so I watched a lot of that happen too. I seen one guy one time, we was in Dothan, Alabama, and some guy jumped the rail and had a gun. And the police had to really tackle him down, because he was going to shoot, I think it was Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, God rest his soul. He was doing this angle with John Gillum, and they had put a mask on him, calling him Mr. Dothan. And so I think that, and Eddie, he certainly knew how to get heat. So that night, the guy just was completely out of control. So, you know what I mean? That's kind of horrifying, man, because that's when it gets real.
Did you ever see fans come over in the WWE and try to do the same thing? It seemed like I've seen one or two in my time, but not many, but there have been some.
No, I've seen a lot of that. I remember one time, we were doing an overseas tour, and they had a cage match, and all of a sudden we look up, there's this guy climbing the cage, brother. He was on his way in the cage. So what they did, they just let him climb and got over and got half his body in, and they brought the rest of him on in, and they introduced him to the world of professional wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, because we've always been taught that once they come inside those ropes, they're fair game at that point because you're defending yourself.
Well, you're in our backyard then.
Yeah. So, who was in the cage at the time that he was coming over? Do you remember who was involved in that?
I think it was Randy Orton and somebody. I don't remember. It's been quite a long time ago, but I know we was in Italy. I believe that's where it was.
I do remember a couple of times watching, and I'm trying to think if it was, I think it was Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And somebody entered the ring. Stone Cold didn't see him right away, but Triple H did, and he took him down before he got to Stone Cold, which kind of killed the whole, the story that was going on in the ring. But it did take place. And guys, trust me when I tell you, you do not want to go inside those ropes. if you're not welcome in there. Don't go in there.
Yeah, exactly, man, because you have no idea what's going to happen to you.
Look, I want to go back to Eric Bischoff real quick. He also made another comment after talking about Ric Flair. He also made a comment that he didn't think that the Four Horsemen were that great of a stable, basically, that they were just a regional, stable. But, they really weren't well known.
Well,
again, I think he got hit by a car. But
I don't mean, I just don't know how much known you can get, after, the Four Horsemen. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was certainly a brand there.
Everywhere you went.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, every man has his own opinion. So that's Eric's opinion.
Teddy, I sent you a video of last week's promo between Ricky Starks and MJF. And I just want to get your opinion on that video. I got to tell you, personally, I think it was probably the best piece of business in TV wrestling last week.
Well, I tell you what, too, I feel the same way. MJF, I love this guy to death. He's great on the microphone. He's got great mic skills, and he certainly knows how to cut a promo and get it over. And I think what he did was real professional. You had the Starks kid there, hometown boy. Everybody loved him. And I thought that what MJF did for him, brother, that was the highlight of his life. That should take him straight on to the top. And I mean, that's how you do business. And MJF did business that night. And man, congratulations to him.
You know what I love about that is that it was all organic. It just happened to be that they were in Ricky Stark's home state. So he's got local fans basically there that can help support that storyline. But everything about that came together in a way that I don't think AEW anticipated. Because now I look at Ricky Starks. When you have back in the older days, you had Ric Flair and Sting. They were two guys who, whenever they came across each other, you knew something was going to go down.
Right.
Ricky Starks and MJF had a very believable tension to it that makes me believe that Ricky Starks could be a huge star.
Well, I was just going to say this, I hope that after that night, I hope Tony Khan took a look at Ricky Starks. I'm telling you, yes. I hope that right there got Ricky Starks a job, because he certainly deserves one.
Well, Ricky's been there working for the last, I believe the last year now. He's under a full contract now, but he has not been pushed, not like this. And I really believe that whoever's writing stories right now needs to put a pause on whatever they're doing and relook at what happened last week before you move forward, because there's something there. There's money to be made between those two, and not just for a one-time match.
Oh, yeah. But MJF could make him the biggest babyface in the company. And like I said, we don't know, but this may have been the start for Ricky Starks. This may be the start of his big push. I don't know, but I certainly hope so, because he did a great job.
Did he ever? Just incredible. Also, Conan had made a comment that he thought that Ricky Starks was the first person that could stand toe-to-toe with MJF, even more so than CM Punk when he was there. Well, and I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, well, Conan's a smart guy. He's been around this business for a long, long time, and he knows. So, yeah, I certainly would agree with you, too.
Look, speaking of Conan, he believes that Matt Riddle in the WWE may have a lot of heat after he got destroyed, and stretchered out by EMTs on last week's Raw. He goes on to say, Conan says, quote, "I thought it was a good match, Usos versus KO and Matt Riddle. They made Solo look like a beast because he took out Elias earlier and then just destroyed Riddle. Riddle's got to have heat, bro. There's no other top guy who gets treated like this."
Well, like I said, Conan's been around. He knows, and you and I know, and that could be the problem. He could have a little heat, and sometimes when you get heat, that's the way you get punished.
What's it like when, give me an example, that you don't have to use names or anything, but give me an example of what it's like when you get heat in the back with the boys or with the management.
Well, sometimes, when you get heat with the boys, sometimes they'll let that, that's according to what kind of heat you got. And I remember the time that...
somebody's got heat with that dog.
Could you just stop? Get down. But like I said, sometimes when you get heat in the back with the boys, and I can tell you one incident, there was one guy that they brought in, and he come in, all cocky and talking about what he's going to do, this and that. And so come to find out that they put the hit on him, the APA, they really showed him exactly what this was all about, and he left that day and he never come back.
I've seen some matches here and there where with the APA where they looked a little stiff in the ring, like maybe they were trying to get a message across.
No, they're not a little stiff. They are stiff.
Stiff.
ain't no little got nothing to do with it.
Teddy, has the form of stiff changed from the early days to now?
It's according to what's going on. You know, sometimes some guys in there, they get a little cocky, so you have to kind of teach them a lesson and let them know, you know, hey, this is how this goes, and, you know, let them know who's in charge. So I think that would probably be going on, you know, in wrestling for as long as wrestling exists.
Do you think that, though, that maybe some of the punches and the kicks are looking a little bit too weak now and they're not, I don't want to say they're stiff, but I like to see contact in my wrestling. I don't like to see a swing and a miss and somebody go down.
Well, some of the young kids are kind of like that. You know what I mean? They don't really lay them in because I think some of the kids are concerned about whether they're going to hurt somebody or not. Well, I don't want to hit you that hard. I don't want to, you know what I mean? But that's not how it goes. You know what I mean? You got to lay those punches in, and that's a way to lay the punches in where you don't hurt anybody. You know, yep. A lot of guys, professional, one of the greatest of all time, God rest his soul, Bobby Eaton. Was one of the best in the world, man. He could hit you and look like he knocked your head off and never touched you.
Yep.
So like I said, a lot of the young kids now, you know, some of them, you know, they just don't get it, and some of them do. So that's how the business has changed.
And speaking of throwing punches, let me tell you, over the weekend I watched ROH. They had a pay-per-view, and FTR went against the Briscoes. That was one hard-hitting match. That was one of the most physical matches I think I've seen in quite some time. And one of the members of FTR had a picture. He was flying back home, and he had lumps all over his head from where he took punches and shots and stuff, just from how stiff that match was. But again, I like that kind of wrestling because it makes it more believable to me to see some contact be made.
Well, that's how it should be. You know what I mean? That your job is to make people believe. You know, I always tell people this. They see what we do. They don't feel what we do.
Correct. Let's talk a little business here. Teddy, I want you to put on a promoter's hat and just kind of hear the story out and give me your thoughts. William Regal has gotten his release from AEW. All signs now, as of today, it looks very confirmed that he'll be going to WWE in a non-televised role. He'll be behind the scenes. He still had a 2-year option on his contract that Tony could have picked up with AEW. Tony chose not to pick it up, but William Regal was helping bring numbers to the ratings game on his television show. In fact, probably one of the shining parts of that show was William Regal and his promos that he was cutting. Would you have allowed that to happen when your ratings are starting to drop and you see them dropping around you? Do you let go of somebody like William Regal just to be nice and let him go back to be at WWE? Or are you a businessman and say, William, I appreciate that, but right now, you know, this is working for us and I've got to do what's best for my company and my shareholders?
Well, that's what I would have did. I'd have sit down and maybe had a serious talk with William Regal. And like you just said, you know, we need to do what's best for business. Right now, you know, you're doing numbers, you know what I mean? Let's make this thing work, you know what I mean? And after a while, if you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, let's sit down and talk about it. And, you know, if that's what you want to leave, then that's what'll happen. But I mean, I think, you know, Regal, great guy, man. Good to have around because he knows it all. But him and Hunter, they've been friends for a long time. And so I think he feels a lot more comfortable working with Hunter, you know what I mean, and doing what he was doing behind the scenes. William Regal is a guy that ain't got no ego. He ain't worried about being on your TV and all that. He just wants a job and wants to contribute to whatever he can to the business.
I have heard that it's been rumored by other people behind the scenes that Regal had an issue just like CM Punk. In the fact that he would go down and try to train and pass on advice to some of the younger guys, but a lot of them just are not receptive to that advice, which is what you hear quite often. It's a continuous thing you hear about people who go into AEW and leave. They're a little bit older in the veterans that were there and are gone now.
Well, I don't blame those guys, man. If you're working with a bunch of young kids there and you're trying to tell them the right thing to do and the way this works and they don't want to listen to you, then I wouldn't want to be a part of that anyway. I want to get away from that too, because sooner or later the company's going to destruct. And
Yep.
Those people that don't want to listen and don't want to hear nothing are some of the people that's going to destroy it. So I don't blame him. I wouldn't be there when the ship sinks anyway. He's did his part. He's tried to tell them what to do. He showed them. And if you don't want to listen to a guy like William Regal, then something's got to be wrong with you.
Teddy, I'm going to throw a challenge at you, and you may not like this, but I know for a fact you have not watched a full AEW show. You've seen clips, a lot like what I do now. I kind of watch clips here and there. I'm going to challenge you to watch their show tomorrow night. Now, this is, as of today, this is 12/12, December 12th, 22. If you'll watch tomorrow night's show, it's one of their specials called Winter is Coming. It's on TBS. It's a 2-hour show. I'd like to get your opinion of AEW and how you see it through your eyes, because I know you've only seen bits and pieces, but I'd like you to see it from top to bottom and tell me, what your thoughts are of this new promotion.
Well, I'll do that. I'll certainly watch it. But the only reason I, don't really watch it because, it's like this with me. If AEW is not interested in me, then I'm not interested in AEW. Yeah. It's just that simple. But I'll watch it just because you asked me to. Yeah, I just want to get your opinion because I know that you're old school like I am, and some of it's in that program and some of it's not. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are, from a top to bottom show, what you think about AEW. All right.
Margot Robbie, also known as Harley Quinn in the movies, said in a recent interview that John Cena, get this, she says, quote, is so worth the hype. He's the best. I love him. I really love him. So she now has got John Cena in a situation where she's out there throwing those things out and he's trying to respond. Did you have a lot of people from the entertainment world that come through WWE that got starstruck by themselves when they got there?
Yeah, John Cena was one of them.
That star coming in, like let's say Danny DeVito, he comes in and he meets somebody behind the stage. Did you see instances where they just turned into a kid and thought, man, this is great, I'm meeting one of my favorite wrestlers?
Well, yeah, I saw a lot of guys that come in, some of the enhancement guys that come in, to do jobs, as we call it. And some of those guys are real excited, I've had guys even come up to me like that, you know what I mean? God, they're Teddy Long, But, but that's really good for them. They get a chance to, meet their hero. And so the other thing I like about them, some of them had a chance to meet us and they were excited, but they still went out and did their job. They didn't let that interfere with their job. And so those are the kind of guys I like to hang around with.
You were in a sweet spot of wrestling, Teddy. You were at the beginning stages of Nitro and all that hype that started up with Nitro. Then you were gone and came into the WWE during the Attitude Era. What you being in both companies, and you've seen how things were done with the business side of things, but wrestling wise and talent wise, where was the most talent sitting?
Well, the most talent was in the WWE at the time. Well, WWF, but the WWE now, that's where most of the talent was. And to show you how that worked, as you can remember, all the talent when Bischoff started giving out all the money and all that talent that Vince had, Kevin Nash, God rest his soul, Scott Hall, another one, Macho Randy Savage, then Hogan, all those guys came right on into WWE, in WWCW. And, but it's all about getting the money.
Yep. Yep.
So that's where all the talent was. And that's how you saw what, WCW was able to do, was to take all those guys away from the WWE and offer them all money. But see, they didn't understand that Vince just sit back and just watch it. And the next thing you know, they're all back with Vince.
Yep. Let me ask you, having been that you were in WCW and NWA before you went to WWE, can you describe what it was like when WCW finally started hitting its stride and seeing those huge houses and millions of viewers that you didn't have before?
Well, everybody was excited. The NWO was the biggest thing that could ever happen to WCW. So, we're selling out everywhere. And so everybody, the thing was, if NWO was on that card, then you wanted to be on that card because you're going to get a nice payday that night. And plus, you want to be a part of a big sellout crowd. Everybody's having fun. That arena's full of people, and so you're really, you're looking around and you're like, okay, man, we're doing our job here. We got this place packed out. Because that's what I used to always say every time I went to any arena, how we doing tonight? What's it look like? And so, you want to know that. So, yeah, I was just glad to be a part of it, man.
Who were some of the best people when it came to respecting the business and wanting to do more with the business and not there just to get a paycheck?
Well, Hogan was one of those guys that respected the business. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin was willing to go over the limb for the business. You know, he wasn't just there to get a paycheck. He was there to, do his job and, make the company, be successful. You had Undertaker right there, another guy that went out of his way. I mean, this guy here one time, he caught on fire. He was going out and the pyro went off and caught on fire. It didn't stop him. He went straight onto the ring and did his job.
With second-degree burns.
Right, with second-degree burns. So I know some guys would have freaked out and panicked, would have ran back to the locker room, talking, well, I can't go out there, I'm on fire and all that. So, you don't let that. Yeah, you can't do that. This is all about business, man. I don't, went out, hurting, aching and everything, don't bother me. And I wasn't a wrestler, but sometimes the toll, of traveling, gets on you, man. Then I'm trying to work out in the gym every day to keep the stress down. So, it's a lot on the body.
Out of curiosity, back at the time that you were at SmackDown, if you could have put together your roster, the roster of guys and women that you like on your show, who would they have been? And you can pick, you can pick anybody. It doesn't have to be just in WWE, but if you could have stacked a roster of guys on your card for SmackDown, who would you have chosen?
Well, especially, you got Undertaker there. CM Punk would have been one of my guys. The Miz, another guy.
Now, why The Miz? Why The Miz?
Well, because he's so entertaining. Yes. And I had a chance to see The Miz before he ever, got real big. He was in Deep South Wrestling after he come off one of those reality shows.
Yep.
So I had a chance to meet him way back when and just to see how he progressed and how his success just shot him right to the top. So Miz would have been one of them. Vicky Guerrero certainly would have been a part of that. She was absolutely great. We had Michelle Taker's wife, Michelle McCool. She would have been really good. One of the people that I'd have took there. But I mean, it's hard to really pick because everybody at that time during the Attitude Era, everybody was doing great. I mean, anybody you put on that show, man, people wanted to see them.
Now, I noticed that that list of people on there, and I was trying to write down everybody that you were saying. You didn't have John Laurinaitis anywhere on there.
Why would I? Just that simple.
Teddy, anything you need to talk about before we close out today?
No, I just want to say we've had a great show today, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. Okay.
Hey, and don't forget too. Let me go back. I want to reiterate what we had gotten told earlier, and I probably won't be able to find the notes now, but. We are switching over to Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda on YouTube. Make sure you stop by and see us there. Subscribe. And when we say that, we're serious when we ask you to subscribe. That would be a big help. Not only here, but also on our other show that we have, which is on YouTube. And that is called 30-Minute Time Limit Road Trip After Hours. Now, if you go there and you subscribe, Teddy's been teasing this for a while. I kind of figured this out, Teddy. If you want a chance at winning prizes like T-shirts and other things, road trip, actual merchandise, I promise you, if you subscribe, you'll be in that running to win prizes. But you got to subscribe to win. That's it. No purchase necessary, but you do have to subscribe to win.
Exactly, man. And we're gonna have some gift cards, T-shirts, and maybe we'll have a lot of other merchandise to give people.
As a matter of fact, we have 8x10s, T-shirts. We have actual iron-on patches and sew-on patches with our logo. So there's a lot of stuff that we'll be able to give you. All you have to do is go down there and subscribe. In fact, Teddy and I are going to sit here and wait for you to do that.
Well, do we have that much time?
Sure. You see him doing anything, Teddy? I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
In case y'all wonder, it's right down here. Right there. There you go.
Mac, I think they got it. They're not like you. They're not drinking coffee.
Pro Wrestling Tees. If you want one of our T-shirts, stop by Pro Wrestling Tees. Road Trip After Hours. Buy one of the shirts. It's the holidays. Great gift giving idea. And Teddy, I know you got some shirts that I'm going to grab a hold of this week that we'll be doing some selling of as well, right?
Right. We'll be doing that.
All right. I'm Mac Davis. He is WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and this is One on One.
And in the words of Tony Chimmo, holler.